Hi YouTube, this is Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid, with a video, and it's not an unboxing, it's a different video, and actually it's my first video response video that I've done, so I'm going to try this. So the VR was hashtag cardstocksnob, which was started by Boy Diviner, and I also saw one from Sunset Bow Tarot talking about preferred cardstocks, and we all have our preferences. And what I found out is that there's very few that I don't like. I like, you know, different cardstocks for various reasons. Yes, the thinner cardstocks are easier to shuffle, but I happen to be a fan of those thick, heavy, rose petal finished decks that are, you know, kind of clumpy to overhand shuffle. Because of their durability, they hold up really well to heavy use, and they will stand the test of time. So I will get right into it, and I have got a bunch of decks around here, so we'll try to be fast. My number one, and I will show you my least favorite at the end of this video, so stick around for that. The worst deck, the worst cardstock ever, at least that I've experienced. But the first one that I will say that I love, and it's a deck I recently got, but even though it's been around a while, is the Pagan Otherworlds. This is the Pagan Otherworlds, and this is the 5th edition. And on its website, and I was wondering if, I was looking at Sunset Bow's deck, and she has this on her video too, and she has a 2nd edition. I don't think the cardstock has changed. It's still a linen finish, black core, like top playing card, casino quality deck. It's printed by the Expert Playing Card Company, which is a top printer of cards. This deck is long, so you know, it's a good overhand shuffler, except that my hands can't take it because it's hard to do because my hands are so short. And I'm not a riffle shuffler, especially with decks this long, in the traditional way. I do tend to go to the side. I have a weird little thing where I go to the side like this. And it works like a dream, and you can work it in, and it's nice and a beautiful experience. The other thing is, like, this cardstock bends back into shape. It's not thick. It's like a playing card. But I love feeling the linen texture in this deck. Other ones that have the similar, actually the same, would be Usi's, and that deck is made by Usi, as you all know, is the Super Oracle. And I have a 2nd edition. This is the 2nd edition, also printed by the Expert Playing Card Company. Same black core linen finish, and it is very, very. It's the same quality as the Pagan Otherworlds. The other one that is not, though, one that is not an Usi deck, that has that same linen, black core, superior playing card finish, though I don't know who it was printed by, is Marie Bento's, I don't know if there's the back, the Antiquarian Tarot. Oh, look how nice. I've got it all in order. This one, again, she's been printing this deck, I think, on and off. Sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not. It used to be available on her Etsy shop. I don't think it is. You have to get it off her website. And before it said linen finish, and this is definitely a linen finish. But on her website now, I think if you get it printed, if you buy the deck now, on her website it says 330 GSM, German Superior Smooth. So it may have changed. But her Oracle deck, the Divine Muses Oracle, does say linen finish, black core, superior casino playing card quality. So that's another deck, and I love this deck, the way it feels. It's gone through some heavy use, and it's going to withstand the test of time, though I am thinking of getting a 2nd deck. because I love this deck so much. Her, and just a quick mention, because I do have it out, her Antiquarian Tarot also, Antiquarian Lenormand, sorry, is also like a playing card, feels like a playing card. It's linen finish and it's fantastic and it shuffles and feels like a dream. Now, one that I have that has a linen finish, but I don't think it has that black, you know, superior black core, it may, is the Anima Mundi Tarot. Now, it's this beautiful, it feels a little stiffer, and I think that might be because of the gilding, the edging, the gilding on the sides. But this also shuffles like a dream, and because it's gilded, you know, I don't do traditional shuffling, even if the cards are smaller. I do my side shuffle to keep them nice and pretty, because I want them to stay nice and pretty and beautiful for as long as they can. But it does overhand shuffle very easily and not so clumpy. And this is another deck that I love because of cardstock. And I believe the oracle that goes with it, though I do not have it, the Nocturne Oracle, is the same cardstock. So that is the Anima Mundi Tarot. So again, linen finish. And the one more with the linen finish that I have, and I think it's Expert Playing Company, is the Playful Heart Tarot by Kitten Chops. Now this is the same length as the Pagan of the World. It's much too long for my little hands. I mean, I can barely, that's the width of my hands. So again, I do my weird little side shuffle, and it works just fine if I want to get a good mix with the cards. That's how I do it. And people say, why are you shuffling so weird? And I said, because of my hands. They're so small. And it's the travails of having small hands. That's how it goes. So those linen finish decks, I always look for decks with linen finish. Like if I'm going to back them on Kickstarters, that's like a plus for me to have a linen finish deck. Playing card, thinness, very, very easy to handle. The next one up would probably be Baba Studios Cardstock. This is a Victorian Romantic. And even though it doesn't have that linen finish, it does have a sturdy, I think, black core of some kind that makes it snap into place. It's got a little bit more papery feel, you know, than the playing card. You know, it's a super, you know, it's a matte cardstock. These are borderline on the big side, but they do overhand shuffle very well, not too clumpy. They are thin, you know, they are like a Llewellyn thin, but they have a sturdier core that leads you to believe that they're going to last a lot longer than maybe a Llewellyn cardstock, maybe. I know a lot of people love Llewellyn cardstock. I don't mind it. I don't think it's the worst one out there, but I would probably say it's next to the least on my list of favorites. But I have plenty of Llewellyn decks, so I prefer US Games cardstock to Llewellyn's. Just because it feels sturdy. But yeah, so number 2 of my favorites would be the Baba Studios cardstock. And I have a number of their decks. There's one that's eluding me, and that's the full-size Bohemian Gothic. I have the little mini, but boo-hoo, I don't have the full-size one. I'm looking for it. Okay, so now we're going to go into a cardstock that a lot of people don't like because it is, they claim it's too thick and clunky. This is the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, but the similar decks that would have this cardstock would be Light Seers Tarot, Muse Tarot, both decks by Chris Ann Donnelly, Bad Bitches Tarot, Dark Mansions Tarot, and a couple of other ones I have here. But the reason people don't like it, it doesn't, you see, it's big clumps, you know, if you're going to do an overhand shuffle. And I will not, these are smaller, a little bit shorter, but I won't riffle shuffle them in the traditional way because of the gilding. I am thinking right now, while she has them in stock, of getting another second deck of this because I love it. But see, if I want to get a good mix, I can do my little side shuffle and then it works in just fine. So I don't have a problem with this. This cardstock feels very sturdy and it's like it's gonna stand the test of time, just like the playing card decks. And the rose petal matte finish is just a delight. It's just, I get all the good feels with handling, you know, cards like this, and it's wonderful. Now, one that I will say, well, there's two here that I've got that are the same rose petal matte finish, but they feel a little bit on the thinner side and therefore a little bit easier to shuffle, is this Starseeker Tarot. I think it feels a tad bit thinner than the Mermaid Tarot. Again, this is a fairly new deck to me and I'm working with it this month, but it hasn't been totally worked in. But because it feels not as thick, it's a little bit easier for me to get a good side shuffle and I can get a good mix and it works in very well. So I love the rose petal finish, heavier cardstock. I have no complaints with it. Now, one that's even thinner than this, but again, rose petal finish, and I just filmed a video with this, unboxing this video, is the Crystal Unicorn Tarot. This is matte, super matte, and again, thinner. And again, you'll get, this is brand new. I just opened it and did an unboxing video today, so I haven't worked it in. But a little bit clumpy, but the cardstock again feels thinner than even the Starseeker. So, I'm gonna try my little side shuffle here. Yeah, and it works in just great. It's sort of a side riffle shuffle. And it's fantastic. And this is, you'll see it if you watch my video unboxing once I get it up. This is a delight to handle. And it's fantastic. It's just fantastic. Now, so that's number 3. So we're going from top to bottom. So first is like the Oozy deck. Linen, or any deck that's linen finish, feels like a playing card. Then I have the Baba Studios cardstock, and then these thicker matte rose petal finish cardstocks. Now, okay, next down the list is cardstock. I don't know what you would call it. It's a super matte. This is my Tarot of the Alchemical Magnum Opus by Robert M. Place. Now, this is a super matte cardstock. It has gilding on the side. It's a little more papery and thin, but it feels fantastic. And this is a smaller deck, so it's easier to overhand shuffle. Not too, oops. Now watch me. Yeah, I can't handle my decks. Not too clumpy. Not too clumpy, but you can get, I can do my little side shuffle here and you get a nice mix. And that's the way, really the way I prefer to shuffle. But this feels, it's so matte, it is thin. But, and it's papery, but not like copy paper or you know, copy paper thin. And the other deck that is like this, I have the Oracle deck, which I worked with last month, and oh my gosh, I just love it to death. Love it, love it, love it to death. Is, let me get this book in here so I'm not making too much of a mess, is the Awakened Soul Oracle by Ethany Dawn. Now, this box is a nice, beautiful, buttery finish, but the cards feel like the Robert M. Place. The Robert M. Place cardstock that I just showed you. It is super matte. It is kind of on the papery side, but it's not fragile. And again, because you see this card takes up my whole hand. And it is gilded. I do the side shuffle with these, and I get a good mix and just work it in as such. And I love the way this super matte cardstock feels. It's thin, so if you're a riffle shuffler and if you have larger hands and can get your hands around this puppy, it is really good cardstock. It's a delight to touch it, to feel it, to work with it. Love that cardstock. Now I will talk, I don't have any Llewellyn decks because I view them, a lot of them the same. So they would be next down, but I'm so mad I didn't get it. But I'm not going to go back, and I'm not going to go to my living room and get it. One that's an honorable mention, I will say, for a mass market deck that I think they hit out of the park is the Mass Market Muse Tarot. That is awesome cardstock for a mass market deck. And some people, you know, the Muse Tarot, the indie version, has that thick rose petal finish that a lot of people don't like to handle because it's hard to shuffle. But the indie version, they did a really good job with that cardstock, even better than the cardstock in the mass market Light Sears Tarot. So take a look at that one. So now I'm going to get to, what do I have here? I have one more deck that with different cardstock. It's a Roots and Wings Oracle. Now, this is more, I don't know if you can view, it's like rose petal, but it's more plasticky. It's like it's got a it does have that plastic UV coating. And people I know cannot stand it. It does stick. I will say it does stick a lot, but again, I don't mind it because of the way I shuffle from the side, and it works okay for me. This one a little bit less than the other rose petal decks. This one does have like a plastic UV type coating, but I love this deck so much, and it will stand the test of time. It's very fun to touch this deck. It feels wonderful. So I think this is a cardstock in this deck that people have loved or hated. Okay. I'll stick that back in the box. I didn't get a bag for this, which she does make. Because I figure I know how to sew. I can make my own bags, but of course I never do. All right, so here we go to the worst cardstock. The worst cardstock I've ever encountered. And it might not be a surprise to many of you, because you've encountered it too. It's the Antique Anatomy by Claire Goodchild. In all fairness, let me take it out of the box. This packaging is to die for. Everything about the production, the book and everything is just, you know, to die for. It's beautiful. They skimped on the most important thing though, the quality of the cardstock. So this, it's got beautiful distressing on the back. The artwork is so freaking gorgeous, as everybody knows, but this feels like my scrapbooking paper cardstock. You know, it feels like literal cardstock, just a step above, barely, of printer paper. I have 2 decks. I have 2 Antique Anatomy decks because this is not going to stand the test of time, especially if you're a heavy user. Now, I did hear that, and it's no fault of the creator, I believe I heard a podcast on the girls at Wildly Tarot podcast did an interview with Claire Goodchild, and she said that the publisher, and who is it published by? Abrams Notary. It was their first move into printing a tarot deck and producing and publishing a tarot deck, so they didn't know what they were doing as far as cardstock. Beautiful job in the rest of the production of it, but, and so with all the complaints she's gotten and the reviews on Amazon, which this is a mass market deck, she did inform us that they were going to change the cardstock. They listened, but I don't know. This deck is available on Amazon, and I have, since she announced that, I have ordered the deck again twice, and it's still this cardstock. The last time I ordered it was back in May, and it was still this cardstock, and I sent it back. So I do not know if the deck that they have on now is the new cardstock. I want to snatch it up, and because I love this deck so much, but it is the worst. The only one that's close to this in papery feeling is kind of the Will Worthington decks, his Wildwood Tarot, the oh gosh, what's the Pagan one? I'm having a brain freeze. Those are kind of on the papery side, but not like this. Not like this. So Claire Goodchild, when she was launching her Memento Mori Lenormand / Oracle deck, I asked her, is it going to have the same cardstock as the Antique Anatomy? And she said no. So this is Memento Mori, but she published this herself. And I will say this cardstock is buttery, matte, thin. It is what this should be. And I hope that they're going to produce this. This is like a, I would say like a Llewellyn cardstock done right. Like better Llewellyn cardstock, but kind of along that same thinness. This is matte, super matte like this, but it's done right. It's got some structure to it, and I'm hoping that they're going to make this deck with this cardstock or something very similar, or even like a US Games, even a Llewellyn cardstock. It would be an upgrade from this. So let me know your thoughts, so that you can tell I find positive in most cardstocks. The only other one that I'd say I'm not a fan of are like the super sticky, glossy cardstocks that you find in some Oracle cards with like that red feather, or Rockpool Publishing puts out, you know, that just stick together. I don't like that cardstock either, but at least those aren't going to fall apart. This is just, That's why I bought 2 decks, but I will buy a third if I can find out, you know, when they have the good cardstock in. And I've been looking at the reviews on Amazon, and they're all older, so nobody, you know, has said, hey, this is the new cardstock. Their description is the same. There's no indication, so I don't know. Like I said, I've already bought it twice in hopes that it was a new cardstock, and then I shipped them back because it wasn't. And the last time I did that was in May, so I don't know if I can be brave and order it again and see if anything's changed. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think. What are your favorite cardstocks? What do you think? You can place them, leave a comment below and put, you know, one being your favorite down to whatever being your lowest. And if any of these are a make or break, if you see something on Kickstarter or a new deck, would any of these cardstocks be a make or break for you? You know, keep you from buying the deck because you don't like a particular cardstock. So let me know. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll try to link the original videos from Boy Diviner and Sunset Bow below when I post this video. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Thanks for spending a few moments with me, and I will see you again really soon. Thank you.